everyone, how you doing? Welcome back to Train Sim World 5, and this time it is a premiere, an early access premiere to the BR194 E94 Railtour pack, which is coming out tomorrow, which is the 24th of June as you're watching this. This is a DLC by TSG. As you know, they're pretty well known for making quality add-ons for all the German stuff that we've got. They've got a very good reputation, a bit like Just Trains, I expect, really, from for the UK side of things. Always good stuff that they bring out. Now, this one, I'm going to say it, will either be your cup of tea or it won't be, because this is very old. It's one of the Krokodil locomotives. We had one of these in red, you'll remember, on the Mittenwaldbahn, so many of you will be used to driving this already, but there are some subtle differences with this. We'll go through everything in the article, or the pre-release article, so that you can you can have a look at it, but you can also hopefully make a bit more of an informed decision once the release date does come round tomorrow, and then you'll know whether you're picking it up or not. That's what we're going to do. That's the plan. This is the 194. So there is the E94 as well, remember, which does a couple of rail tours, but we're going to take out the 194. We are in 1984 on the Linke Rheinstrecke, because you do get a 1984 timetable for Linke Rheinstrecke, which has a lot of AI in it, etc., etc. And again, we'll go through all that detail once we get into it. So I'm going to come out of photo mode, and I'm going to get the thing started, and I'm not going to do this in any particular order because it's quite complicated. I've had a little bit of a play with it over the weekend, but yesterday was the last time I touched it, so I'm gonna kind of do my best. So I'm gonna work from over this side, right? I'm gonna take the brake key off first of all, and I'm going to go to forwards, and then we need to do the pantograph, because you see the pantographs are down at the moment, so we need to raise them and power them. So it's locked at the moment, so let's go to raise, and you can hear that, and you can see it. It's a good start. Then I believe what we need to do then is go to set, and hopefully that gives us power. I'm hoping it gives us power. I can't hear much, you know. I'll be honest with you. What else do we need to do? We need to do the compressor. Might have needed to do that first. I can't recall. That's the compressor. Blowers on slow. Now I can hear something. We'll get there, honest. I need to put that back actually to raised, so we'll do that. I don't know if we're ready to go. It seems pretty quiet to me. We're going to give it a try though. Right, brakes. So the locomotive brake is in hold, train brake is in neutral, so that's fine. Safety systems and lighting. Right, so first of all, we've got lights on the back here. So instrument lights are already on by default. There's the cab light if you want the cab light. Doesn't do much. Desk lamp, wiper switch is up there. We've got reserve switch. Machine room lights if you want those, if you're doing a night service. Cab heating, and then we have got the lights right here. So we're going to go for signal light on, right, left, and then top. So let's go through the machine room. There's all sorts happening in here. If you do get a chance while you're driving, come and have a look in here, because there's all sorts moving about, and it's all machinery and whatnot. It looks pretty good. If old engineering is your thing. Don't know what that does. That's the main circuit brake set, but you know, we'll press it anyway. Anyway, let's go down here, because up here you have got CIFA. We'll set that. We always rock with the safety systems on down at this end, and then we've got the Induci, which we've been in. We know about Induci, don't we? Because again, Mittenwaldbahn I think was Induci, and then I think there's somewhere else we had it as well. But anyway, it's instead of PZB. Similar, but yeah. Quick tour of the machine room. Yeah, lots going on. Scary place. Right, back we go. Let's see if we can get it moving, shall we? We'll close the door. This, of course, is like the one on Mittenwaldbahn. You've got to stand. You just do that. You don't sit down. There is no seat you can pull out, which you know, seems a bit harsh to me. I'm not going to lie. Let's not apply the brake. Let's release the loco brake, and we're going to release the train brake as well. That was in neutral. Brake gauges are up here, by the way. As you can see, it's coming down. The Brems cylinder. Now then, it's a tap changer, so shall we see if we can actually move? We'll put it in power controller 2, shall we? See if we can move off. And we are, and all the amps, etc. from the motors you can see here, so that you know that you're taking power, etc. Down here we've got the speedo, as you can see, and this is what level of tap you're in as well, if you're interested in that. I should have mentioned the motor braking switch as well. We're already in motoring by default, so you'll need it. You'll need it in that as we go. Right, let's have a look at the schedule. This is part 2 of Koblenz to Mainz, so we're going down to Mainz, siding 59. As I said, 25 kilometers. It'll take us a little while to get there, but yeah, it'll give you a good look at it. I'm going to put some more power in, because why not? I don't know what the top speed of this is actually. There will be a manual, as I understand it, ready for release date. I haven't seen the manual yet. That's the CIFA, by the way. But there is a manual coming out. The ambassadors were asking about this in the Discord that we've got. So off we go. 25 kilometers. We're getting up to speed. We can do 60, but that is going to increase. So I'm going to put some more power in early. There we go. We'll put it up to 7. So as I move this, you can see this needle is increasing. It will go all the way up to 18. That's the CIFA again. So I'm going to keep an eye on the signals. But we are going to read through the article again, just as a reminder. We did go through this some time ago, but it's worth doing it again before release day. So let me just do that. If I move the mouse over to the other screen that I've got. So it says, relive historic attraction and continue the nostalgic adventure with 2 additional variants of TSG's iconic Krokodil locomotive, which, as I said, is coming out tomorrow, the 24th of June. The story so far, we talked a bit about TSG's latest add-on following the release of Mittenwaldbahn earlier in the year, and then this was teased. I can't remember how long after this was teased, but there is an important point in the article right at the top to remind you about that this add-on is only going to be released for Gen 9, so that's Xbox Series S and X and the PS5, and of course the PC platforms as well. We're on the PC today. Early access is available for me on the PC, so that's where we're playing, and we just put this up to notch 9. I'm just watching the voltage there has gone straight to the top, as you can see on the right hand side. I don't want to blow the thing, especially given its age. But we're increasing speed quite nicely. Going back to what the article says, first of all, talking about the rolling stock. So the BR194, that's what we're driving right now. And this style of locomotive, which is the iconic Krokodil, was first introduced to train sim world with the Mittenwaldbahn add-on in the form of the RBB 1020. The distinctive shape dates back to over a century ago, with this type of locomotive arriving slightly later in the 1940s and 50s. Crazy. These things are still going. I know they've had some work done on them, but they really are ancient. You can kind of tell, can't you? You really can. But if you're a fan of this stuff, you must be loving this. All these old things, these old locos and old old stock that TSG keep bringing out to the German routes. The DRG BR194, which is this one, is an older variant than the BB1020. As TSG explained in the roadmap, there's a little bit of information about what TSG said in the April roadmap, which seems ages ago now, doesn't it? April. Let's see what they had to say. They did say when the RBB took on the E94s to form the RBB 1020s, over time they made a significant number of modernisations and improvements to the locos to keep them relevant and to suit local requirements. In backdating the 1020 into the 194, these modifications had to be removed, leaving a somewhat cruder locomotive. And this is pretty crude. It is pretty basic. It's basic though, but it's not easy to drive it. It's okay now that we're going, look, but you know, if you're stop-starting, then it's going to be a little bit more of a challenge. Let's just come out of the cab for now, and we can look from the outside. Hopefully that's not too noisy, and you can still hear me over the top. So the differences can be seen both inside and out, with the DRG variant seen in a plain dark green livery rather than the RBB red. The roof and windows, but also components like the cooling pipes, vents and lights also have visual differences. In the cab, technology is visibly dated, as we saw, with less electrical components and switches, a shorter instrument display and an even older style of telephone. This route looks good, by the way. I've not been on Lincoln Ride Stretcher for a long time, but there is a more comprehensive list of changes that is listed in the article. So, air system modifications, including a weaker compressor, differing air tank capacity and locations within the system, and non-centralised brake frame. Train brake valves are now NOR number 10 manually lap brake valves instead of the Oerlikon FV4 self-lapping valves. That doesn't mean a lot to me, but it will do to you fans of the German stock. It do see I54 instead of I60. The functionality is the same, says the notes, but there is no ability to change the modes. Different pantographs and the control system. As modelled, we have a single contact strip on each pantograph, so both pantographs have to be raised. Typically, the control of the MCB and pantos is done by the single valve in each cab, which we saw, which caused a little bit of confusion as we set off, but we got there. But there's an air valve in the number 1 cab to select which pantograph is to be used. There's always a hand pump to be used to raise the pantograph in the event of there being no main reservoir pressure to raise it, to then allow the main compressor to run, which is quite nice. There's different lamp systems. Just let me acknowledge that. Different lamp systems, instead of built into the vehicle's body, semi-permanent lamps with red filter levers on the side, change the aspect. There's various cosmetic changes, as you would expect, and there's changes to the overload system, which will require the driver to go into the machine room to reset it in the event of an overload being tripped. Now, I haven't done that yet, so if we do overload it, we'll need to go and do it. And I presume that was the little MCB switch that I was messing about with when we were doing the setup in the machine room. I'm going to assume it's that. There is a weaker electric brake as well comparative to the 1020, so we haven't had to test the brakes yet, but we will do as we come into this into the siding in 17 kilometres time. Now, the E94, which is a Railtour locomotive, we're not going to run that one today, but it's pretty similar. This is included. It's a more modern Railtour variant of the E94 in the form of the individual number 088, which runs Railtours to this day. Developing the add-on was done with an invaluable support of the Elektrische Zugförderung Württemberg. I should read this before we start. And they will also receive a portion of the proceeds from this pack, so that's quite nice because they may need that funding. Let me just reduce power a little bit. as we are downhill. In fact, I'll take the power all the way off. Just for now. We can naturally slow that down a little bit. That's the other thing about tap changes. It quite often takes a while for the power to come off once you get to a certain range. I'm going to put a little bit of brake in. So it is lap brakes, as we said. So put a bit of application in, then lap it. So it's in lap right now, and then we'll release it. There we go. And then we'll put it back to neutral, I assume, when we are not using it. I think. Until I get the manual, I'm not quite sure. But back to the E94, it was originally built in 1943, and this specific locomotive received major modifications in 1970 to become an ÖBB 1020, and continued service until 1994. And then, after an extensive restoration, it was brought back to operational condition in 2013 and is now proudly maintained by EZW. That's an easier way to say it. EZW. I'm just putting some power back in, by the way. Today, it still runs on both rail tours and regular services whenever an additional locomotive is needed. It's quite nice, that, isn't it? And it's nice to know you can go and see these still, and you can see them, you know, operationally as well, and actually still travel on them. But they look so much different to everything else that you can see on the German railways. Wow, we did, I'll tell you what, we did lose a bit of power there, didn't we? We are still taking power, aren't we? I think. Just looking down at the voltage is like below half. Let me put it back to 0. See that power then resets. There's definitely no power now. Can hear it's gone down and we're slowing down. So now let's start to build it up. There it goes. We probably got to do it in stages, then we don't blow the thing. I can see the voltage there on the dial. Let's keep adding some in, see if we can accelerate. I can see the brake is getting slightly less in the hood. Wow, all that because I took the power off. Right, the brakes are pretty neutral at the moment. I can see we're on 48 kilometers per hour. See if we can accelerate up. I'm probably doing something wrong. You guys are screaming at me. I must admit, I didn't drive the Krokodil on Mittenwaldbahn very much. I've not been on that route, you know, a lot at all since we first played it. We're picking up power now, look. Just takes a while to step through the taps, I think. Put it in 12. Move up to 13. I think we said 18, didn't we, is the maximum. I think 18 is the maximum. We are accelerating, look, very slowly. That's fine. Let's leave it there and see what we can do. Just see what else is in the article. PSG also said from the very beginning the EZW team has provided them with original drawings and answered every technical question that they had, and groups like the EZW are the reason these 82-year-old locomotives are still alive and running today. Without their help, we wouldn't have been able to capture the authentic sounds or gather the detailed information necessary to recreate these locomotives so faithfully. That's quite nice. It's nice that they're tipping their hats to them as well about all the help that they've given them to do it. Because, you know, people that work on these things as a hobby especially are really passionate about them, getting them on the rails, doing the restorations. They're the people that know these things inside and out, so it's really nice that they've been involved and they're getting some money out of it as well. I'd love to know how much they actually get from the sale. That'd be nice to know. Now, you don't just get the 2 locos with this. Also, you get the BYG 516 Umbauwagen coaches. And it does say the aging pre-war passenger coaches, the Umbauwagen. After the Second World War, German railways had a lack of coaches stock, therefore opted to rebuild old pre-war coaches. Umbauwagen translates to rebuild coach. There you go. Now, Umbauwagen, somebody English, sounds quite impressive. But when you know it translates to rebuild coach, it's not that impressive, is it? But it sounds good. It sounds really good to me. It's very impressive. There's the German language for you. There was over 6,500 of these coaches in service at one point, but they were withdrawn in the 2000s. So even then, you see, they lasted quite a long time, didn't they? They really did. That's not all though. You also have the GBS ES50 and Follens freight wagons. And it says, for a period, freight services, a selection of new and reliveried freight wagons are included in this pack. The GBS wagon is new to Experiencing World, whereas the ES50 and Follens have been seen before. The Follens come in a new DBB livery. The GBS freight wagon, and I don't know which type that is gone past actually, because that is what we're pulling as well in the back. The GBS freight wagon is an iconic boxcar which these days has been generally replaced by Habbins type wagons. It's found largely on heritage railways used for storage and was a staple wagon from the 50s to the 2000s. So it's nice. So you're not just getting the, you're not just getting the. Oh, we've got a stutter there. This is the preview build, by the way. I should have said that at the beginning, as I always do. This is the preview build for ambassadors. You don't just get the wagons, the 2 locos, the coaches. You do get the 1984 Linker Rheinstrecke timetable, which I mentioned right at the start. So if you do have the Linker Rheinstrecke already, you'll be able to make use of this new 1984 timetable that's unlocked with this add-on. The timetable's best experienced with a full complement of period locomotives and stock, which are layered in from other Train Sim World add-ons. Now, I don't know if I've got all the add-ons in the PC, but those add-ons are the Linker Rheinstrecke, which I did have, Mittenwaldbahn, Niedertalbahn. I don't think I've got the Niedertalbahn on the PC. I have on the PS5 because it's one of my favourites. And also the other layer is the BR194 loco add-on, which I think I do have. You can get it as in a form of a bundle, which will be available on Steam, it says, although I don't know whether bundles a thing on the console. I really don't know. There will be some more details provided about that bundle, so if you've not got any of that, you could buy the whole thing as a bundle. There'll be an announcement on that. The 1984 timetable adds a small number of additional playable services over the original, which was set in 1997. However, there'll be significant increases in AI traffic with hundreds of additional AI services visible at both ends of the route. We have seen quite a bit of AI coming past us as well whilst I've been talking. There are some unique special services included, as well as local freight and repositioning movements. Long distance traffic will feature courtesy of content from the Mittenwaldbahn route add-on, and this increase in services means that some trains will have to wait for others. That's going to be the freight ones, isn't it, in the main, I would think. There's also been a number of general improvements made to the Linker Rheinstrecke route, mainly focused on scenery and water textures. And it does say in this article, in the run-up to the release, the BR218 will receive a new livery that can be used in this timetable or via free roll. We'll share more news on this in the relevant patch notes. Now, I didn't know about that, so I don't know if I've got that already in this build. I don't know if that's out yet. I haven't seen anything. I haven't seen any details yet, so maybe that is coming just before the release. Keep your eye out for that one. Now, there are also, outside of Linker Rheinstrecke, there are some Railtour service on the Pfälzische Ludwigsbahn. And it can be, that's for the E94, and that can be operated as Railtour in 2 scenarios on that route. So there are timetable Railtour services which are not on that route yet, but they are planned to be added to the route in the future. Keep that in mind. So what about scenarios and free roam? There's 2 scenarios on Lincoln Rheinstrecke and 2 for Ludwigsbahn, as we just mentioned. Of course, you've got free roam scenario planner, so you can create, you know, pretty much whatever you want. And it does say that in real life the local's been seen hauling more contemporary stock, such as Dostals, and has been throughout Germany during its time in preservation. I guess pretty much saying to you, you can use it for whatever you want. So if you like your scenario planner stuff, and I'm sure there's going to be, on Creators Club, there's going to be the usual people creating their own scenarios. You might not even have to create any yourself, they'll be there already, so that's quite nice. Keep your eye out on Creators Club for that. There's a lot of really creative people there, as I always say, that do a lot of the stuff that I can't and don't like to do, so I usually download a few of those as well when a new pack or route comes out. So just a reminder about the price though. So this is coming out tomorrow, 24th of June. Xbox Series X and S, PlayStation 5, Epic Games Store and Steam. €24.99, £19.99 if you're in the UK, and $24.99. So there you go. That's all the information. That was the last information we had about this pack. And if I just move my mouse back over here, I can show you a little bit more now from the outside. You probably want to hear the horn, and on this one, of course, it's a whistle. There it is. Let's have a quick look at these. What does it tell me? Oh, these are the phones. These are the phones wagons, which it said have been seen before. But yeah, these have been seen before. It's actually a shame that we're not pulling one of the new wagons, or the new wagon, I should say. Just a note on the speed, once with that little bit of trouble, I have accelerated up, and we're doing a nice 80 cruise at the moment. So that's good. Now, for those of you that always ask me what I think about these packs, first of all, there's 2 different schools of thought. The DLC itself, a lot of time and effort's been put into the DLC. There's a lot of content being created, including the new timetable for the Lincoln Rheinstrecke. So, you know, that goes without doubt. The level of detail in the DLC is pretty good. There's lots of stuff you can go around and you can click, and you know, when the manual is released, you'll obviously get a lot more out of that as well, because it will tell you what everything is doing in the cab, and also in the machine room. You can go around and have a look at all the detail in there. So there is absolutely no doubt that, you know, this is a well thought out DLC, and a well planned and a well developed DLC. Now, do I recommend it? This is where the cup of tea thing comes in, because there will be 2 schools of thought with this. If you like this kind of age stock, then I would say yes, you're gonna go and buy this, especially if you already own the other content that you need to be able to layer into this to get the full amount of benefit from it. It comes down to whether you like this kind of thing. For me, I like to occasionally drive this kind of stuff, and we've just had the emergency brake. And why is that? Am I not going the correct speed? Am I going too fast? I've gone too fast. But I'm giving you my opinion of the DLC. Now, how do we reset? Hang on a second. Ah, that's flashing. That's interesting. Now, you see, I haven't got the manual, so I don't know what that means. Let's have a look. Do I have to reset this? Let's have a look. We've got the inducer. I've got Ah, we got the release. Got to release it. A bit like the PZB. We've got to release it. And we got an override there. Right, okay. So it's similar to PZB. I must admit, I've not used the induced heater very much. Let's have a look at the brakes. Are the brakes coming off? And do we still have power? Or do we need to follow the reset procedure? We'll find out very shortly. Let's just check the brakes. I'll hold them in quick release. The brakes are coming off. I'll go back to what I was saying in just a second. I think we were travelling too fast, perhaps, approaching the 60 that was coming in. Let me just try to accelerate and see if we can move. Looks like we're taking power. Let's check it out. We are indeed moving forward. So I've not had to do the reset, which it mentioned in the article. So again, this is where I'm just missing the manual a little bit. I'm kind of pleased it was easy to recover from that, by the way. So we are underway. We're only 2.1 kilometres from the siding where we're finishing. I think I did acknowledge the signal as we went past. I'll acknowledge this one as well. We've got a shunt signal up there, I believe. Showing green for us on the hood as well. So I'll just acknowledge this as we go through. Oh, okay. So I was probably meant to override, wasn't I? That was probably what I was meant to do. So let's release that. I was probably meant to do that, hold that as I went through the signal. Right, brakes coming off again, look. Let's go back to 0 on the power controller. Then we're all reset. Should probably have the local brake on or something. Right, let's put power back in. We're taking power anyway, that's good. Yes, so I was giving you my opinion on this. I think if you like this level of detail in the German routes and you're a fan of the really old stock, then I think this is for you. And if you've got all the layers and you're going to get the maximum benefit out of it. Now, I was saying that for me, it's not a handful to drive, but it requires more effort. And I'm a fan of the more simpler items of stock, if I'm being honest with you. And actually that's coming from me who likes to drive the 87 with a tap changer and will enjoy very soon driving the 86, so it doesn't really make sense, does it? But I think the reason that I've not been on the Mittenwaldbahn very much is because of the Krokodil locomotive, of which this is. And I'm just not a massive fan of it personally, but I will play it. So this is what I mean. I've said it several times about it being either your cup of tea or not your cup of tea. For me, this wouldn't be my first choice. But that's a personal opinion. That's not a reflection of the DLC. That is the type of DLC, and if it is your type of DLC. I've probably completely butchered that explanation, but I think you know what I mean. But I think it is. But for me, it's a little bit less enjoyable because it's not my style of driving. So for me, it's a little bit less enjoyable than some of the other stuff that we've got. But I absolutely think that it is a worthwhile addition to the collection, even if you don't play it that often, because you're completing the set, and you will see it. You will see it in this timetable as AI as well, which is quite nice, along with the coaches and the wagons that come with it, and all that good stuff. So, yeah, DLC is very, very well done. Do you like driving this type of loco? As always, let me know down below. If you ask me, am I looking forward to this or the 86, which we think is imminent for the UK route? Obviously, I predominantly play the UK stuff, so for me, it would definitely be the 86. However, I would definitely say add this to your collection. And I think the more I would play this, the more I would get into it. But it is tricky to drive. I think it would be easier if I had the manual. So I don't know. Let me know what you think. Let me know. I hope I haven't put a downer on it. Look, you see, here's the AI. This is what you'll get with the timetable, you see. They'll become a common thing as you use the DLC. And I'm hoping we haven't got any manual points we need to move through here. Various sets of wagons over there in the siding. But yeah, it's out tomorrow. I think it will release on consoles at the usual time, which is usually by about 10 AM UK time. And then on PC, Epic and Steam, it's usually later afternoon, isn't it? So between about 4 and 6 generally PM. So you guys on PC just have a little bit more time to wait for it. So there's another one over here on the right. In fact, there's loads of them. There's loads. That's a 194. I don't know if we've seen the Railtour one yet. We've not seen the E94 yet. These are all the 194s that we've seen. So yeah, just let me know what you think. I don't know. I don't know from my regulars whether this was something. Not a lot of you have mentioned it, so I don't know whether this is something that you guys are really looking forward to. It could be very niche, but I don't know. The other thing is, of course, that because of Mittervorbor, we do already have a Krokodil. So that might also sway your opinion. Are you going to spend 20 quid? For a similar-ish, given all the changes I've just been through, but it's a similar-ish DLC, isn't it? It's a similar-ish. Oh God! I stopped way before I was meant to. It's a similar-ish loco to what we had before, with some changes and as we talked about. But is it enough for you to spend the 20 quid or whatever it is in your local currency? That's the thing. So let me know. We'll have a discussion about it. But if you do pick it up, enjoy it. I think that's the main thing. We'll go outside one last time as we approach the red. That is Mainz station there in front of us. We're in siding 59. Are there really that many sidings? I guess there is. It's pretty complicated, isn't it, around here? There's the red on the right-hand side in front of me, so I can sort of just trickle up to it. There we go. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Hope you've enjoyed this little look. Oh, now I'm in emergency brake. That's not good. It was 36 minutes. It was nearly 29 kilometres. I hope you've enjoyed it. Thanks for joining me once again. If you do pick the back up, do let me know that you've picked it up. And I will see you all on the next video.